Hey everyone, welcome back to Kats.Cross.Stitches. It is Flosstube number 3. I'm back for a third time, so that obviously means that I'm at least semi-enjoying this. Big shout out to everyone who's still comments coming in on my first and second videos. I really appreciate all the kind words from everyone. Such a great community. And I wouldn't do it if it wasn't for all of the lovely things that people say. So for the love of cross stitch, here we are. One thing I do want to acknowledge is the enormous amount of work that I can now appreciate that Flosstube has put into videos. I got out of bed at 9:30 this morning and got dressed and got straight into getting ready for this, and it is now 12 o'clock. So it's taken me over 2 hours just to get ready to do this. It's going to take an hour to film it. It's going to take time to upload. So I now really appreciate all the work that people put in, especially those that do it every single week. I don't know what my schedule is going to end up looking like, but huge kudos to those people. Anyway, so what are we going to talk about today? My notebook is here. Lost it for a second. I have 4 fully finished objects, 1 finished that's partially fully finished, partially fully PFFO, maybe we'll call it, I don't know. I have 14 WIPS to update you on. I have 2 new starts, and then I'm going to talk about plans for the next 6 months. Yeah, I'm that person. So it is Sunday, I'm not quite sure of February, is it the 21st or the 22nd, something like that. And let's do it. So fully finishes. You may or may not notice up in that top corner is missing my February window of time by Crocette Gogo, because I have finished March and December fully now. So I've temporarily removed February, and here is March, all ready to go up in about a week's time. How is it already March? I don't know, it's ridiculous, but he's finished. And I have also fully finished randomly December, who I don't need for quite some time, but I had stitched him. So both of these are just mounted on a piece of, get them both back together, foam core. One has pink macrame around March, and December has this red and white string that I found randomly in a Christmas ribbon box last night when I was climbing through the boxes of finishing materials in the top of the wardrobe. So March and December are finished. April is in the middle of being stitched, so I'm still ahead. And yeah, I'm really happy with those. I have 2 of those boards because I'm that person that when I find something that I like, I go and buy as many as possible. I may try and find, I was thinking of finding 4 seasons so that I can have, March and autumn up together or whatever, but I haven't quite found 4 seasonal ones that are small enough yet. So if you have some suggestions, I would love to hear those. Now, our other fully finishes are just frames, and this one needs a bit more work, but it's our Scarecrow. He's back again, just in an IKEA frame, no glass. These are really great frames from IKEA, by the way, because they're super deep, so you can mount on foam core and then put them in. This is from SummerSundayXStitch. We saw him last week. He just cracks me up. The Scarecrow, outstanding in his field. Might take this one to work and put it on the desk, or add it to the collection here. Not quite sure yet. So that is fully finished number 3, and fully finished number 4 is a bit bigger. This is the Toadghoul Terrorarium by Noctiflora Designs. This was a SAL last year that I did keep up with. I finished every week, I think, on time, and he's super cool. I love all of the little guys in this. The use of the neon thread, as awful as it is to work with, looks super cool. So this is stitched on a piece of Paddock Lane Designs 18 count. It might be Witch's Brew, I'm not sure. To be honest, I lost the tag, so I'm just relying on memory, but super cool. I love all the details on this. And Noctiflora Designs has some amazing patterns. I'm part of her Patreon as well. Gretchen, I believe her name is, and there's just so many super cool designs. I love plants and flowers, but I also love the kind of gothic-y twist that she puts on everything. So that's in another of the IKEA frames. I think they come in like 3 sizes, and this is or maybe 4 sizes, and this is the second largest. But again, super easy to just pop them in the frame. And if I want to take them out and change them around, as in not have 50,000 frames, it should be quite easy to do. But I think this one is a permanent display because it's just so cool. So we'll see him a little bit more again. All right, so that's the 4 fully finishes. Oh, sorry, I know that's loud. And then I have one partially fully finished, which is the Gaming in Progress Do Not Disturb by Little Guinea Stitching. This is all done, all the white here is in that lovely to stitch with DMC glow in the dark. So I'm going to try and get a picture of it in the dark. I know it will be horrible to try and get a picture in the dark, but I'll try. But he's finished, and by partially fully finished, I've mounted him on a piece of foam core. I was going to turn this into a door hanger. I was going to buy one of those wooden door hangers and mount it. Unfortunately, this is just as wide as those wooden door hangers, so it's not going to work. So I just need to think of another option for this one, but it's partially fully finished. So a new category, PFFO. So stupid. So that's and that's the one kind of finish that I actually have this week. Well, this last 10 days. Alrighty, let's hit the updates on the current projects. I have pictures, I have a board, I have ironed, I am ready to do this. So first one up is Pot Sampler by the Historical Sampler Company. I saw this one first stitched by Just So Sherry, and I fell in love with it. I think it's super cool, and I can't wait to, you know, put my name and initials and year and everything in the top. So where did we get to? We've done 284 stitches since we last saw, to bring to a grand total of 4.84%. Yeah, I've still got a way to go. This is stitched on a 40 count linen in flax. And what I have done this week is, oh, this is hard to do with 2 hands and point out what you've done, is I think this motif here, and then come down into this vase / pot. I'm doing this 1/2, which is not my normal. I like 2/2 normally, but of course it's 40 count. And to be honest, 1/2 does sit really nicely. So definitely worth the fact that I can't loop start in the way that I like to. So that's the pot sampler. The next one is the Sweet Nothings SAU by StitchSprout. I don't have a picture of this, so we're just going to look at where we've done. It is a SAU, as I mentioned, and we're up to release number 3. I have not quite finished part 2, and that is part 2 was the flower and the house, which is sadly missing a roof still. And actually I haven't even finished part 1 completely because this frame is not finished, and this is also part of part 2. Part 3, which was released just on the previous Friday, I'm sorry, that's all over the place, has some cake up in here, I believe, and a love letter down here. So trying to keep up with this one. I'm not that far behind. They're not massive pieces, and now that Winter Olympic stitching has finished, should be able to get caught up on that. So that is the Sweet Nothings SAU by StitchSprout. Can't give you a percentage, but I've put in 2,000 stitches in the last 10 days. So that's, you know, this is a significant amount. Next up is Fisherman's Friends by Long Dog Samplers. This is what it's going to look like when it's finished. I started this in May 2025, and it's on a 32 count Stormy Night by Zweigart. So let's see what it actually looks like, rather than the very lovely but not my work picture. And we are here. So what I've done I mean, this very unattractive way of doing it is this piece up in here, which is the bee, what looks like a duck with something in his beak, a cat. I mean, you just start to see all the little things in this the more you look at it. The boat, the sailing ship there, and I've done some of the backstitch as well. I just randomly felt like doing backstitch. So he got 321 stitches this week, which takes him up to 47.34%. So hopefully next time I pick him up, I'll push through and get to 50. That is Fisherman's Friends by Long Dog Samplers. All right, next is the Halloween Advent calendar, which is by Blue Ribbon Designs. I don't think I've actually showed a picture of this one before, just talked about what it's going to look like. And it is essentially going to be an advent with all the little pieces, numbers on one side, little elements on another that you can flip around. The stitching of this is not going to be the big part of it. It's going to be the sewing, because all of these are individually sewed pieces. So this is not going to be finished for this Halloween. I'm not going to even pretend that that's an option. But I did do 408 stitches since we last saw it, all in the frame. Really exciting black line stitching, but also finished the little pumpkin so he's not as scary as he previously looked with all the gaps in. Backstitch the candy and some of the words there. If you want to know what it says, it actually says, as the month of October creeps along, each day reveals a treat. Quickly we reach the 31st day when beggars dress up for sweets. So that is the Halloween Advent Calendar by Behind the Gate. I started this on the 31st of December 2025. It is being stitched on good old 40 count even weave vintage country mocha in the called for DMC conversion. I know that's not the right way to say it, but it was in fancy floss with a DMC conversion. I'm not gonna buy the fancy floss for this. I think the DMC is perfectly adequate. I haven't done any work on the little pieces down the bottom, or the little individual elements, but if you are curious what they look like in their unironed glory, they're like this. They're quite quick to stitch up. Again, it's not going to be the stitching of this that means it's not done this year. It'll be the sewing. I'm not a sewer. I don't pretend to be good at it. I don't pretend to like it, but it's worthwhile for what you get in the end. Okay, next up is Clouds Factory. We've seen this piece before in the WIP Parade, but not actually seen a picture of what it will look like. And it's this lovely quote of, don't break anybody's heart, they only have one. Break their bones, they have 206. So it's a little bit grim, but you know, whatever. I like this kind of weird grim stuff. Quite grim apparently. So where are we at? I have done 202 stitches to take us up to, oh, that is see-through. Remember to board this time. Oh, there's fluff everywhere and the light is picking up every single piece, but that's okay. And so this is where we've got to. It's currently at 13.27%. Oh my life. It's going to bug me now, all the dust on there. Needs a roller. And then next is Beth Twist from Heartstring Samplery's Scary Sampler. This is so cool. I love this. What does the text say? I can't read it in the camera because it's backwards. I will die here where I have walked, and I will walk here though I am in my grave. Nice. Again, I like this kind of macabre kind of stuff. I started this on the 25th, I keep saying 25th of December, 31st of December. It's on 13/6 count platinum linen by Zweigart. And this is how far we have. It's with all the fancy flosses that are called for. I have come across and done this, what would you call it? Foliage, I guess. And we. That's how far we've got. This is on a huge piece of fabric, as you can see. It's not going to take up all of it, but it's pretty cool. I'm enjoying working with the over-dyed fancy floss, whatever we're calling them. I like having to think about the logical flow, if that makes sense. So there we go. That's the Scary Sampler. I have no idea of the percentage because I am using a weird combination of paper and electronic, whatever. It is what it is. Next up is Glimpse of Winter by Quaternion Creations. We saw this one last week and it's got quite some progress because we've got 679 stitches in, taking it up to 53.75%. This will be the next project I focus on to actually have it finished because it's getting close. And from last time, put the little house in. This was part of Stitch the Winter Olympics. It's been in there twice now. The cardinal, I totally confess, this is not as exciting to stitch, so I counted all the way down so I could do the fun bits. And I'll go back and eat my vegetables later on and finish the border. But it will be quicker doing these pieces. So sometimes I save up the less exciting parts of the stitching because I know they can move faster, and other times I go and do the little pieces that make me happy. And this is on a 32 count Zweigart linen, just in an ice blue. It's not particularly showing up well here. It's much more blue than it appears, but it's a really lovely little design and super fun to stitch. So I'm really enjoying that. So hopefully next time it will be a finish. What is next? 12 Days of Christmas. I don't have a picture of this one, but this is another StitchSprout SAU that I discovered, oh, we're going to have to go backwards a bit, through Sarah at Stitchybug. We both came across this, well, she came across this in the lead up to Christmas, and I absolutely jumped on the train. So we have the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 days done. I'm on the 7th, which is the swans are swimming, and how cute these little guys. Well, they will look cuter when they've, this one when he's got his face, but that is where it's at. This is on a 32 count black linen. Do not recommend. It's not the most fun thing to stitch on, but it's such a fun pattern and it looks so great. And I love Elle at StitchSprout. Her imagination is amazing. She's really, really creative and clever to get these in. So that's 12 Days of Christmas. Next up is one of my absolute favorites, the Silhowitches Quaker by Teresa Kogut. This has had like nearly 700 stitches since we last saw him, because this is now really turning into what I do on a Sunday afternoon, Silhowitches Sunday. This is on a piece of 32 count even weave by Paddock Lane Designs in the colour Witch's Brew. And it's done in Silks for You, in where the black/grey is, and I never remember to write the name down, I'm so sorry. And the green, little green bits are actually just DMC colour variation, the green sort of selection. And again, I'm really enjoying trying to make the variegated threads lie out in a really logical, fun way, but I think it just gives it so much life. I just love this pattern. I love the fabric. I love the silks. I would happily monogamously stitch on this. If you note, I have not completed the year. It is my intention to finish it this year, but just in case things happen, I've left it until very, very last. Another, oh gosh, this is huge, on black, excuse me, is the Star Tarot as part of the Nostalgic Tarot by the Witchy Stitcher. So I've put little rainbows in the bottom, or the shooting stars, sorry, and some little elements up there. This is slow, it's slow going. I haven't visited this one for a while, so it was fun to see him again and work on this enormous piece of fabric. This is folded in quarters, so you can imagine how big it is. Yeah, there we go, the star with his horrendous DMC metallics. Yeah. Continuing on dark fabric, no, actually, this is the very antithesis of dark fabric, is an update on the Flower Dragon Meadow Sal by Flossy Fox Shop. Excuse me. I'm still on part 5, and there is that big gap for the part 6. This is fully released. I started stitching this last year with my stitchy friend PFFOs on Instagram. She is finished because she is far more, she has a shorter whip list than I do, we'll put it that way. What I've done this week is some birds and things on the back of the wood dragon, and it does not show up well in this light. The fabric is Hint of Mint by Paddock Lane Designs, 32 count even weave. It is much greener than the light wants to pick up here. And there's loads of metallics in this one that I've used. You can really see it in the blue guy, the green guy, the red guy, the brown guy, the stupid birdhouse, all have metallics in, and they're an absolute trip. But we'll get there. This one will be finished hopefully this year. It's fun to stitch on, but there's so many color changes that it's quite slow, and I get a little bit frustrated. So that's why we haven't made heaps of progress on him. And I've just kicked the camera, I'm sorry. So then we have one of my 12 in 12s is back again, and I did a neon stocking for Christmas, and they do work. They are fun. You just have to, you can't change the colors at all. You have to stick with them. I'm only doing this one, the cocktail bar. And this is by, I cannot pronounce it, Vikycialp. I don't know, I list everything below on Etsy. So I'm going to do the cocktail bar, or I'm doing the cocktail bar. And we got in this week 450 stitches. I was doing this last night, and I just really started getting into it. I need a board. This is a bit see-through. And I've done a lot of this, a lot of the glass, the C and the K, randomly. That's where we led. So yeah, this will look fun. I'm just going to put this in a plain black hoop when it's finished and put it up on our drink shelf. So that is Neon Party Set, and this one I just call Cocktail Bar. So then we move on to a couple of, to another sal, because apparently I love them. This is Tiny Modernist, and I have been calling this Poison Garden, but it's actually These Plants Can Kill. And the second part was released the other week, and I kind of missed it, but I got started yesterday. I think, I'm not sure if I'd done all the backstitch last time we were here. It's a lot of backstitch, but every part of it's worthwhile. I mean, look at the plants, they look so cool. And the new release part is Mandrake, and this is a bottle and a leg of a little Mandrake root guy. This is exclusive to her Patreon as well. So if you're not on her Patreon and wondering why you haven't seen it, that's why. So that's These Plants Can Kill. We're up to part 2 of the sal by Tiny Modernist. It's a 6 monthly sal, so they're monthly releases, so they're not too big, and each piece is about 700-800 stitches, so totally manageable. And the last whip, not a lot of work, but some, and something is something, is this one, the Cross Stitches Coat of Arms by FiddlesticksAU. That text says, "We stab things 1,000 times, then hang them," which just really tickles my fancy. And here's where we are. It's just on an 18 count Ada, and we have the unicorn is done, and I started on these little bobbins here. Not a great deal of work, only 143 stitches, but he's a fairly small piece and he's already at 28%. So I think once Glimpse of Winter is finished, I might make this my priority to finish next. Look at the unicorn. I love unicorns. Anything with unicorn, I'm probably going to buy it, to be honest. I have no shame about that. All right, so that's all the whips. And 2 new starts. First of all is a new Witchy Stitcher piece that I started on Valentine's Day, which is a Graveyard Union. A very well-known first of these is a Graveyard Wander, which I also want to do. So this is on a piece of 32 count linen by Color Cascade fabric in the colorway Cup of Coffee. So what I've done this week is actually order another piece of this because I'm going to do a graveyard wander on the same fabric so that I can have them side by side, which I think would look really lovely. I did quite a bit of work on this one already. I did not write down how many stitches, but it was probably 600-700, and it's already at nearly 10%, 9.44. So this will look really cool. And it's a slightly different fabric. I'm probably going to have trouble with the moon showing up, but I'm going to give it a go anyway and just see how it comes out like. So as you can see, the whites here might have some issues, but that's okay. We'll figure it out as we go along. So it's a graveyard union. And then the other one I did, and I'm going to apologize if you are not a sweary person. I am a very sweary person. I'm quite proud of the fact that I've not really sworn a lot in any of my floss tubes so far, touch wood. This is by Jack the Stitcher, and I'm just going to call it Can I Please Have One Day? It does have another word in there, as we can see. And on the 19th, so Thursday, I finished out a big case at work that had been going on forever and a day and driving me completely insane. And I finished it out around 12 o'clock. Great, happy days, went to lunch, got a call at 12:30. I now have another huge, big, complicated case. So I came home, I put in probably 500 or 600 stitches into this just because I was feeling just like this. It's on a piece of 18 count white 8, nothing special, but it was quite cathartic to get the words going and some of the border. And maybe I'll just turn this into my rage stitch when days just aren't going my way. So that's new starts. I have a little bit of haul. I don't normally do haul, so I will keep it quick because I know it's not everyone's thing. But I ordered 3 patterns from SummerSundayXStitch, which is Garden of Shadows by Sprouting Lupine. The unicorn, but no explanation needed. I love Sprouting Lupine's designs. I've never stitched a single one, but I own quite a few, so I think it's about time to change that. I also got in Praise of Pollinators from the Blue Flower. So pretty. There's a lemur on this. I never noticed. So cool. And I also got my first ever Jet X stitch with Blue Rose. I don't know why I'm stitching bugs. Ooh. I don't know why, but apparently that's a new thing. It's so funny how you your tastes change, and then you find this one thing, or maybe it's just me, this one element or theme, and fixate on it and buy all the patterns and start all the things. It's quite, says probably quite a few things about me. So that was my tiny little bit of haul. That's from SummerSundayXStitch for those of you in Australia, I mean, and overseas if you want to pay the postage. She is based in Brisbane. Beautiful, lovely service, lots of great products. She's going to Nashville, so she was doing Nashville pre-orders, of which perhaps some I have pre-ordered. Sorry, not sorry. So support her. She was one of the presenters during the Great Aussie Shindig on the January long weekend, and I just thought she was fantastic. So really, really happy to support Denise and her shop. So plans, what happens next? Winter Olympic stitching finishes today. The prompt is a piece you hope to finish in 2026, and it's Sunday, so I'm just going to have to, it's going to be me and Silhowitches Quaker this afternoon. Next week, the Australian Football League season begins. It runs from the 25th of February through till the 29th-ish of September. The last weekend of September is the final. I am going to plan my stitching around that. So my goal is that for each game that is completed, and not all teams play every week, thank goodness, I will have certain pieces in rotation that I will stitch on up until a certain amount, and then I will rotate them out. It's kind of a game that I've just made up for myself because there's probably nobody else that's particularly interested in doing it. Although if anyone is, feel free to join me. And I'm hoping it will not stop my rotation through everything on a really frequent basis. Still going to have rotation, but that I focus a little bit more on specific things so that I don't have 14 WIPs that I've worked on in the space of 10 days. So that's my plan for the next 6 months. How it goes, who knows. Otherwise, it will just be, you know, trying to finish some of the things that are close to a finish. So the Glimpse of Winter and Cross-Stitch's Coat of Arms. Keeping up with the sales. The next release of Extraordinary Exhibition will be sometime next week. No, just whenever the 1st of March is. So keeping up on those, and otherwise, hopefully I will see you again, maybe in a week, maybe in another 10 days, not sure. Still trying to figure out what works best. This is a Sunday, the weather is okay, so it's not as noisy outside in my apartment complex. My husband is locked up in the other room with headphones on, so I will need to go and release him shortly. Thanks everyone for watching and joining me again, or joining me for the first time or the second time or whatever it is, and I will see you soon. Thanks guys.